Hello, welcome to this platform. My name is Kemi, and I talk about faith, love, hope, courage, and positive mental awareness. And as a matter of fact, I actually focus a lot more about promoting a good mental health because I know how important it is for us to live a life of purpose. And how is it that we're going to live a life of purpose if our mental health is distorted? So like that's like my major focus actually. So welcome once more on this platform. And so today I'm going to be focusing on something that I've actually been a recipient of, and I know of how much it really, affects a lot of people, And when you go through these different situations or circumstances, they tend to want to withdraw from life, and actually it's actually not necessary. I know sometimes our circumstances can be so painful and it might leave a lot of scars in our heart, but that doesn't mean that we should end up our lives, or we should just pause our lives. We'll stop living because we've gone through stuff that has kept scars in our lives. No, I don't think that's the best thing we should do. And what trying to talk about is today we'll be looking at the art of falling no matter how many times, standing up no matter how many times you fall. Yes, it's an art because it takes special skills, emotional skills to be able to do that. Some people actually fall, and just by one fall they just fold, just like fold their arms and like, no, I'm not taking on this journey anymore. But no, that isn't what we're going to be looking at. We'll be looking at seeing how no matter how many times we fall, we rise again. And you know why? Well, I actually wrote here that you fall to stand up again because you have not lost sight of the bigger picture of who you are meant to be. And that's the truth. We are actually called upon this earth, created upon this earth to serve a bigger purpose. That's the truth. So whatever you're feeling, you shouldn't try to stop yourself from being all that you can be. You know what about depression and anxiety? It actually stops your life. It pauses your life. It lies to you that you're worthless. But that's not the truth. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Yes, because you're all that. And you can be all that you have thought in your heart to be, because God actually has created us for a purpose. So no matter how much you fall, you should know that yes, I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand, and I'll keep trying. I fall again, I stand. I fall again, I stand till I get to that point where I have sin in my heart. So what does that actually mean? It means really that you don't have to. You have to get to a point where you make sure that you continue to see in your mental, in your heart, in your mind, for as long as you can see, even though you are not it physically, but as long as you can see it in your mind, you can be it. You have to just keep on practicing and helping yourself. Don't let depression or anxiety make you go blind in your mind, cause you mental blindness. It's dangerous because the moment you stop seeing in your mind, that is when everything just it gets messed up. But if your current circumstance physically looks terrible, but you still have your mental eyes open, there's I can assure you with everything that's inside of me that you will get there. You will fulfill purpose. You're going to have the best life. Nations will be changed by you. Lives will be influenced by your giftings and your purpose upon this earth, right? So before I even go forward, I'd like to just do a recap of my conversation with one of my guests. Okay, yes, I need to explain this. I usually have like conversations sometimes on Instagram Live where I invite people who have gone through different toxic emotions. I will just come because they've experienced and overcome. Then to come and teach us or talk to us about the different processes that are involved in these emotions and how we can overcome. So my last guest, her name is Abiodun. She's actually a pharmacist too. So we talked about depression and suicide, but then we focused more on suicide because she actually had gone through suicidal attempts. But thank God she was saved and she didn't die. That's ugh, that's a relief, really, because she's a blessing already. She already blessed my life too. So we talked about suicide, And during my research about on suicide and depression, I found out some key facts about suicide, and I'm going to share just two. Number one, close to 800 people die to suicide every year. Can you imagine that? Close to 800,000 people die. That's close to 800,000 people full of purpose and talent and giftings that the world needs die every year. And the second fact about suicide also is that for every suicide, there are many more people who attempt suicide every day. So every single day, there are still some people who attempt to commit suicide. Apart from the 800,000 people, of course, that are already dead every year, that die every year. There are much more people who attempt suicide. And can we really blame them? No. I mean, there are different sides to look at this, but then I wish we can know that no matter the circumstance we go through or that we are in, it doesn't have to stop us from living. I like looking at depression as a person. So I speak to depression and say, depression, you are a liar. You might make me feel like I'm worthless, or I don't have any place on this earth. But guess what? You are a liar, because you are just an illusion. You are not my reality. My reality is that I have so many things to do upon this earth. My reality is that I have so many people to make happy. My reality is that I have so many people to serve, and for them to also find purpose too, because they see me lead. My reality is that I'm supposed to serve as unto the Lord. That is my reality. So whenever depression just comes, yeah, sometimes I have this depression because I once had chronic depression. So somehow it doesn't just go off like that. So whenever the feelings just come up on me, I say, you know what, depression, you are a liar. So I do not fall victim of depression anymore. I do not listen to the lies that depression tells me that I'm worthless, because I know I am a woman of value. I'm a woman of relevance. The world needs me. The world needs my gifting. So guess what? I'm going to stand up again, even though depression is trying to make me fall. So my major purpose or objective for today's video is to make you realize, whoever that is going through depression or that is trying to attempt suicide, that your life is worth it. Nations are waiting for the brightness of your sun. People want to come and learn from you. People want to be blessed by you, but you wouldn't know of how much impact you will have to the world if you kill yourself right now, or if you give in to depression and tell yourself that I'm not going to try to stand up anymore. So I'm currently reading a book. I'm currently reading a book by John Maxwell. I don't know if you can see. Okay, you might not be able to see it. I don't know, it's might be upside down to you. Failing forward, and it's just an amazing book. And now that two different things I want to bring up from this book. I'll just try and be fast. Now I've realized that one of the different ways people actually fall into depression, but I would want to focus on one particular way. And one of the easiest way people fall into depression, anxieties, and even attempt suicide is because of their circumstances. I would not even want to underestimate anybody's circumstance in any way, because I believe that there are some circumstances that people go through that is so piercing and hurtful, that is so difficult for one to live above what they've gone through. Childhood traumas, or rape, or abortions, or I don't know, just think about all those things that might really make people fall into depression, and then just decide not to live their lives anymore. There are a lot of circumstances and situations. I can't even underestimate, I can't even never undermine such situations. But then I believe that no matter what you've gone through, or no matter what you're going through, you can still be the best version of yourself. And looking at this, I one of the things I'm reading in this book, or because I'm past this chapter, is that now it's easier for people to really fall into depression whenever they fail, or whenever they have such circumstances, because some way, in as much as people train to be successes, people have failed to train to be failures. I know it sounds very somehow, but don't worry, you will get to understand shortly. So he wrote here that people are training for success when they should be training for failure, right? Failure is actually more common than success. Now this is it. Failure people think that failure is bad in itself. Okay, yeah, it might be. The reason why failure is bad is when someone falls or fails and they fails to stand up from that failure or learn from that failure so that they can be able to move on to another stage where he probably will become the best version of themselves, right? That is when failure is bad. But the part where I believe failure is good is even though you fail, even though you go through whatever you've gone through that is so hurtful and has kept scars in your heart, you tell yourself that, you know what, I'm going to stand up, right? And I'm going to keep moving because I know I've got work to do upon this earth. So people don't train themselves to stand up. People don't train themselves to take off the dust off their bodies and keep on moving, right? People don't train themselves for failure, and so whenever they fail or whenever they overcome some circumstances, they allow that circumstance to determine who they're going to be. They allow that circumstance to stop them from fulfilling purpose. Why not we see that we train ourselves for failure, not because we want to be permanent failures, but because we know we can learn from our failures and build a beautiful future for ourselves. You know what I call that? Do you know what I call standing up when no matter how many times you fall? I call that honing your emotional intelligence. I've realized that so many people don't have emotional intelligence, and that is why they fall victims of depression and anxiety and suicide. They've not learned the art of managing their emotions, and that is one thing that every individual upon this earth needs to learn. You need to learn how to manage your emotions so that no matter what you're going through, you know that whatever you're feeling and whatever you're going through is temporary, and your action or your reaction to whatever you're going through will determine how fulfilled your life is going to be at the long run. So depression cannot have your life. Depression cannot have your mind. You are the one to determine how you're going to end your life. You're the one to determine how your life is going to be. So if you say that you failed and so you would not stand up again, I want to encourage you that you can really stand up again no matter what you're going through, right? You can. Even the Bible says, and a righteous man will fall 7 times but will rise again. So there's room for you to fall, but not for you to fall and remain there, but for you to fall and stand up again. I was about to read about Mary Kay. Of course, we know Mary Kay. She's the lady who made the Mary Kay cosmetics, but she's one person that's actually also that has failed, but she stood up again despite the situation that befell her. Right, but I can't say that because of our time. But I would maybe share that maybe some other time, probably. But then, in summary, I want to encourage you that no matter how many times you fall, you can rise again. No matter how many times you fall, you can rise again. That actually means that you have mastered your emotions, because you know that your failure you fall doesn't determine the fact that your life is ended and nobody needs you. No, but you can actually learn from that fall to build a very beautiful future for yourself. So say no to depression, say no to anxiety, say no to suicide. This world needs you. I really hope that you're encouraged by this video and that you're also blessed by this video. So please don't fail to like and to comment and to subscribe to this channel too. I appreciate you. I love you from the depths of my heart. God bless you.